Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Help promote and rank up my channel. Fate could win here, and eventually we will. I talk movies and TV shows, the latest news, the controversies, all that good stuff. I haven't been on here in a while, haven't uploaded in a while. Busy holiday season, family getting sick in rotation, then all at once. Been taking care of everybody, all the household responsibilities, chores, kids, 4 of them. But then I finally got sick too. However, this year, I'm going to be more consistent with uploads, stay on top of it, really grow this YouTube channel. That's something I really want to do. Invest in new equipment, improvements, improve in any way possible. But we're going to kick off this year with a recap of the best and worst of 2022. From films, TV shows, starting with my top 10 most disappointing movies of 2022, and then we'll get into some other lists and some other videos. My favorites, my least favorites. 2022 was really a bad year for film and TV. There weren't a lot of great things. I was scratching my brain to make a top 10 favorites list. A top 10 disappointments. That was really easy. And some of the things on this list are going to offend some people. For some reason, people get really offended by you not liking the same thing as them. So, I guess, let's go to war.
Issue the call. Are you ready to fight? Together as one for the right to be free once again.
Round 1. Fight!
Coming in at number 10, Halloween Ends, and thankfully it did. Michael Myers is my favorite horror serial killer, horror movie icon, however you want to label it. This is coming in at number 10 because I had low expectations after Halloween Kills. That was a sloppy, irritating mess, and this trilogy just seemed to flip-flop back and forth whether or not they wanted Michael to be just a man or something supernatural. The trailers for the final installment, this film, made it seem like this was going to be the ultimate showdown between Laurie and Michael, and that was all the last 10 minutes of the film. Michael Myers was made out to be a joke, somehow surviving in the sewers after numerous injuries that should have been fatal. And he was just pushed around by his lover boy, Corey, who I completely expected to... there was one scene in the film I completely expected him to be riding on the back, holding on to Corey as they ride down the street in his motorcycle, maybe wearing a pink helmet too and all that. I completely I was like, is this really happening? When it showed the very next thing. But getting off topic, this was just a really bizarre film. It would have been good as a spin-off or maybe a second installment in this trilogy. But for God's sakes, a final installment.
You lose that battle 9 times out of 10.
18 film gave the ultimate final showdown between Michael and Laurie. This trilogy went out with a whimper instead of a bang. It was just awful. Coming in at number 9, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Now, I know what you're thinking.
Goddamn, white boy.
Anytime you're a white guy on the internet,
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
criticizing a predominantly black-led film,
You trying to say we all look alike? No, that's not it.
dramatically, ironically dubbed.
You're such a racist.
Silly but true. There's no way for this film to not be a disappointment. With the unexpected passing of Chadwick Boseman, Wakanda Forever might work as a spin-off to an already existing strong trilogy, but as the sequel.
Want your sequel to become a franchise. Never, ever.
Led by T'Challa as Black Panther, this just felt on every level. This felt. T'Challa, Black Panther, has a legacy as a character that surpasses any actor's portrayal of the character. I mean, look how many Spider-Mans there are. Look how many Batmans there are. Granted, none of them died in production, but still, this role should have been recast because T'Challa is much bigger than that.
I know who I am. I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another.
Instead, it fit perfectly into Disney's all-new, all-female Marvel agenda, and Through emotional manipulation, they could milk Chadwick Boseman's death through this film itself, and I'm not saying that's exactly what they did, but it does feel gross when you're watching it. Maybe not to some people. Maybe some people feel like he's really being honored in this film. They do have a tribute to him, the opening of it, but T'Challa shouldn't be killed off in such a lackluster way off screen.
We've lost him.
From that, the film has this just terrible CGI, obvious green screen, feels oddly structured, and is all over the place. Atlanteans and Namor are introduced and butchered in the process of adaptation.
Hey, how you doing?
Because the MCU doesn't have the rights to do them justice, there's a lot of bad dialogue, underwhelming performances, and just silly, not well thought out character choices, motivations. They introduced Riri Williams, the female version of Iron Man, flying in a suit that looks like it's from that 90s show VR Troopers, which was a knockoff of Power Rangers, if I remember correctly. This is going to be our new Iron Man. It's pretty bad. From the music, sound design, action, set pieces, everything in here feels like it's really cheap. It feels like a bunch of cheap tricks is what it feels to me. Emotional manipulation. And some of the scenery is really nice. I will give it that. There are some spots where the scenery looks really nice, but the best performances come from Letitia Wright as Shuri and Angela Bassett. They're the most likable characters in the film that give the best performances. But the Atlanteans themselves look like discount Avatar blue people. Ryan Coogler didn't do a good job. Whether that's on Disney pushing the female agenda or on him, this makes Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther go out with a whimper instead of a bang. It killed off screen with long-winded segments to milk it for emotion. It doesn't drive the narrative forward. Futuristic cities opened by primitive drum playing, Star Trek beams that felt out of place, and cringe dialogue like, "That's my favorite colonizer."
You're such a racist.
The film wasn't likable. It was just average at best to me. Now, I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed this, but this is a real disappointment for me.
You're a fucking disappointment.
Coming in at number 8, Morbius. It's Morbin time. A film with misleading trailers creating certain expectations in relation to Spider-Man. Sony vs. Spider-Man. This film was a butchered mess. A PG-13 rating, off to a bad start. That was massively disappointing. You're not in the MCU. You can do things different. Create something different. Instead, they keep dropping the ball just like they did with Venom, Let There Be Carnage. These things should be rated R. But Sony handles these films like they're stuck in the 90s, forgetting all the progress and advancements the industry's made.
Virgin, touched for the very first time.
A silly disaster in terms of story, plot, execution, performances weren't bad. Not all of them. And the action scenes weren't all that bad. Some of them looked kind of cool. But ultimately, it's laughably bad. Even more so since internet memes influence corporate idiots to re-release this film, the failed film, just to fail and bomb again.
My back.
Which just goes to show you, these guys are so out of touch. The business side, the marketing, social media side, so out of touch in delivering art, such as films. That's why they should just stay the hell out of the way and let the creative side do what it does best. But instead, they continue to run interference, which results in films like this.
Smell.
Oh, that would be me. I've been swimming in raw sewage. I love it.
A disaster. That's why it's number 8. I didn't have the highest of hopes, especially after they said PG-13. So, there you go. Black Adam, coming in at number 7.
You're such a racist.
15 years into the making and forgotten immediately. Do you smell the bullshit The Rock is cooking? Because apparently he was scheming all kinds of shit behind the scenes. Dwayne Johnson wanted to make DC his baby, his stomping grounds, to make his name as notable and household as the man that could at least stand toe-to-toe with Superman, stand his ground with Superman, if not defeat him. All the hype and all the hierarchy of the DCEU is about to change, as if it ever had stable ground to stand on in the first place, as if there was a strong foundation to be shaken. Dwayne Johnson managed to get Henry Cavill back in and created a real possibility with this film that could have been great. It could have been opportunity for Man of Steel 2 and that kind of shared universe. So credit where credit is due. He pushed hard to get what he wanted. Well, what a lot of these characters actually deserve. But this movie was pretty meh and just poorly structured, generic sky beams, throwaway army, cheesy uniting citizens scene. It hit all the cliches you'd expect from a superhero film, and it was nothing groundbreaking, barely likable at best, dumb, mindless entertainment. And there's so many problems with this. The Rock, you could tell this film went in production 15 years ago because it feels like a movie that's really outdated, that's really behind on the times. But The Rock did so much with this while claiming to champion the fans. He didn't want Black Adam to be just a Shazam villain and to be in Shazam's movie. No, he pushed for them to be separate things because he wanted to do his own thing with this. As much as he claims to love all this and be all about like source material accuracy, he went all out with the mixing it up with diversity, not including the ears, accent, hair, none of that. But it's a labor of love for the fans. He loves the source material and he's gonna respect it. But I kind of would have liked to see where he could have took things, but as it is, everything's getting changed now. Everything. The hierarchy of the DCEU was really about to change. So that thing that Rock's been saying the whole time, it wasn't what people expected, but James Gunn is now running the show, and we'll see if it runs it right into the damn ground because he's already pissed off so many people with the Henry Cavill thing. And I don't blame anybody for being mad. But Black Adam. Pretty generic superhero film. Mindless entertainment. Nothing super great. Nothing spectacular. Just meh. It existed. And I'm not sure how long that's going to be remembered. Number 6. Samaritan, a Sylvester Stallone superhero movie that promises to be dark, gritty, original, all this. It just sounded really interesting, and I don't have much to say about this. It was okay, I guess, but it could have been something truly great, spectacular, and unforgettable. As it stands, though,
You're a fucking disappointment.
So Scream 2022, Scream 5, or Scream.
Someone's out to make a sequel. Cash in on all the movie murder hoopla.
My favorite horror movie franchise is that they have gone downhill with every single entry that follows the first.
Who'd want to do that? Sequels suck.
No, wow. Come on, man.
Oh, please. By definition alone, they're inferior films.
It's too predictable. They introduce all these new characters they don't do enough with. Their cannon fodder are suspects, and they don't do enough with them on either front.
Is this simply another sequel? Well, if it is, same rules apply.
That's a big problem. Legacy characters are in the back seat. That's something that makes sense.
So even here, Randy, you'll never be the leading man.
Fuck you!
But it's always somewhat interesting, and the whodunit aspect of it is fun, even though oftentimes it is a bit too predictable, as in the case here.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Just feels like a retread of everything while pretending to be something new, and that is kind of the point of the story anyway, to begin with. They just always have these Randy inserts, because the biggest mistake ever was killing off that character, so they always have some Randy knockoffs, Randy stand-ins, and it just doesn't work. I really enjoyed all the Dewey stuff in the movie, but there's also a lot of stupid, illogical things in there, and if you haven't seen the movie, I won't spoil it for you, but it is one of the biggest disappointments to me of 2022. I'll still tune in for the next one. I wasn't bothered by the social commentary in here, because I felt like it's a two-way street. It could be looked at as a two-way street, complaining about Hollywood, complaining about fans. It's a two-way street. That social commentary. Both parties are guilty of this or that. That stuff didn't bother me, but the movie itself, it didn't do enough to be its own thing. It didn't do enough with the new characters, and it just retreads a lot of the same stuff. Been there, done that. Dress it up as if it's different, because you've got an awesome opening to really set the stage for something different, but they don't.
Hello?
Hello, Sydney. Remember me?
What do you want?
I want
Fuck you!
Number 4. This one's actually going to be on a lot of people's top 10 favorites. But for me, I was really looking forward to this film. I like horror a lot. I like really original or creative horror films. But coming in at number 4 is Barbarian. A lot of people ate this one up. A lot of people have this on their top 10. I'm sure a lot of people really enjoyed this movie. It's so original and different from everything out there. But for me, it just felt like some kind of anthology film that wasn't really an anthology film. You have the first act and second act and third act. It just feels so really disjointed.
Did that go the way you thought it was going to go? Nope.
And all over the place, and they have these unnecessary scenes that really drag out and contribute nothing to it overall.
Ooh, that's how it always starts.
A commentary in there that seems hilarious at first, then the direction they take it, because it's like, oh, somebody has the balls to actually handle this kind of social commentary and do something different with it that's against the Hollywood echo chamber, but instead it goes into a cliche direction, and it's exactly what you expect. And social commentary can be fine if you actually do something with it to make characters grow and learn from it. But instead, this film is just...
Yes, they deserve to die!
And it's all just shuffled up, these chopped into chunks. It's almost as if there were 3 different films here, or at least 2 different films here, and somebody decided to toss them together. To make a movie out of it, because they couldn't figure out enough. There are a lot of loose ends in here, a lot of things that aren't answered, a lot of things that make no sense, and some things that are just so damn laughable. There are some actual amusing moments, like measuring square footage, but other moments that are like, oh, that's just laughable, that's just bad, that bursting through a wall like a Kool-Aid bed and snatching someone up. Give it strong performances. There were really strong performances in here, but the entire movie is really dumb, and it's just mindless entertainment. If you could shut your brain off and not think about anything, don't think about it. Don't think about anything for too long. I thought this film was a massive disappointment because I was really looking forward to it. The trailer didn't tease enough. All I knew was Airbnb gone wrong for some reason, and that seemed really interesting to me. But the final outcome of the film, I just don't like it. There's a lot about this film that's just really jarring, all over the place, and senseless. Number 3, Thor Love and Thunder. You've got Christian Bale playing Gore the God Butcher.
The only ones who gods care about is themselves.
You've got Jane Foster back.
Oh my God.
Dying from cancer. You've got the original Avenger, Thor.
He was no ordinary man. He was a god.
You've got Guardians of the Galaxy. At a time when the MCU is rapidly going downhill, this sounds like it's going to be a pretty dark, mature film.
All gods will die.
But no, everything's a joke.
Well, you're right.
Even the fact that you paid money for it is a joke.
Virgin, touched for the very first time.
And it had all the ingredients to be truly amazing. Gore the God Butcher, murdering gods. You've got Jane Foster dying from cancer. I mean, you've got Guardians of the Galaxy in here. You've got Darcy. You've got Lady Sif. How could this go wrong? And it went so wrong. It is the worst Thor movie there is. This made a joke of the entire MCU. And it's right up there with She-Hulk. Complete disaster. Who would have ever thunk it? Who would have ever guessed that this could be so awful? A huge budget film with god-awful CGI that no effort was put into at all. That's all I have to say about this terrible missed opportunity. Number 2, Jurassic World Dominion. Was really looking forward to this, but it just went straight Fast and the Furious stupid.
I'm not making the same mistakes again.
The whole premise is dinosaurs now live in the world with us. Let's see what that looks like. It's just the way they handled it here. But the biggest thing, what really had me sold on this one, because I didn't have much interest in it after seeing the last one. I wouldn't have much interest in seeing another one of these films, because Fallen Kingdom was pretty bad. But what sold me on this one, bringing back the original cast to share the screen with the new cast, and then all the talk about the shaving cream, the Dilophosaurus. All these things sold me on it and hyped me up on it, because getting Ian back, that's one of my favorite characters.
I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy for my shirt. So sexy it hurts.
For some reason, giant locust. That's what they went with. Giant locust eating crops was the story here. And babies being kidnapped. Trafficking. And giant locust eating crops.
I'm not making the same mistakes again.
No, you're making all new ones.
Saga of dinosaur movies, the final one. Just about giant locusts.
I please have your attention. I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Never go full retard.
I mean, the dinosaurs are in there. There's a lot of dinosaurs in here.
Too sexy for my shirt, so sexy it hurts.
This is not what I was expecting.
Ooh, that's how it always starts. But then later there's running and screaming.
Coming in at number 1 is Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Good God, the acting is awful. Everything looks like it's taking place on green screen, CGI. The creeper looks terrible. The lore is messed with. Absolutely everything about this. It just feels like somebody wanted to completely destroy any and all potential for this franchise.
Oh, kill yourself.
Original's good. It's great. The sequel, it's okay. It's a decent sequel. They go for a bigger, higher body count. It's not as creepy with a lot of build up and all that. And then the third one's just god awful, really over the top, like just really over the top. But this.
If I see you around here again, I'm gonna put a hashtag on your ass and see how many hits it gets.
Oh my God.
It's just as bad as it can get. I didn't think it could get worse after the third one. When I heard about this, I was like, oh, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be great. Breathe new life into this franchise because there's so many things you can do with the Creeper. But this is god-awful, and I can't see this franchise ever resurfacing again, and I think that was the point. I don't know who would put up money just to destroy this thing the way they did. Imagine how many people I had to go through.
You lose that battle 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely awful in every way imaginable. This movie was completely ridiculous. Utter trash. Nonsense. Most movies have something redeemable about them. This has nothing.
You're a fucking disappointment.
Anyways, let me know your thoughts and opinions. What are the most top 10 disappointing films for you? Put them in the comments section below. Let me know. Some things didn't make my list. Some things like Multiverse of Madness, I didn't buy into all the cameo hype, so it didn't disappoint me as much. There's a lot of films I didn't even see that didn't make this list. For me, this is the top 10 disappointing. Let me know yours in the comment section. Like, subscribe, stay awesome.